Hello everybody and welcome to New England Disc Golf Productions coverage of the 2021 Spring Fever. We are out at Oak Ridge Disc Golf Course in Gill, Massachusetts. My name is Dan Snyder and I am joined by Sam Henderson.
Hey, how's it going everybody? Excited to watch some awesome disc golf on this beautiful property out in western central Massachusetts. Got to give a shout out immediately to Tyler Mount for this awesome design and this really cool tournament. It was a super fun day out there, and I'm really happy to be sharing the coverage with everybody.
Yeah, huge shout out to Tyler, tournament director for this event, and Casey Delapena. Put countless hours and countless work into this course, and it's only going to be going up from there. And also huge shout out to Gillis MacDougall for providing the wonderful drone footage you're going to see of the holes and just overall coverage of this property. It is absolutely gorgeous out there.
All right, first up on the card, shooting an 11 down the first round is Dylan Capaccioli. Dylan is 19 from Halifax, Massachusetts.
Yeah, kind of a mixed card here. We got, of course, yourself, Sam Henderson out of Norton, Massachusetts, killing it with the pant game.
Thank you.
And we got the ageless wonder, Willie Douglas. I know you and I were talking during the round, like, he's, 40-something, looks like he's 20.
We discovered on hole 3 that he was 41 years old. It blew our whole minds. And then last on the card is Stevie Frisch, who is from St. Paul, Minnesota. He just finished his first year at WPI, so I think he took off the weekend after this tournament. But it was really great to meet Stevie and Willie, both awesome guys. And I think their first time on coverage as well as Dylan's.
Yeah, we'll see how that plays out. I know you've been on coverage with us a couple times. And then we got some newcomers to the camera game, so we'll see how that kind of ties into the jitters. Here we got hole 1, 260 feet. A little bit of danger in front, but it's a fairly easy stock shot for especially a lead card.
Yeah, a little nervous because you do not want to put it in the water. If you throw it in there, you are not getting your disc back. I put one in warm-ups and have not found it yet. So here we go. Dylan, first off the tee, flicking his FD3, parks it.
Yeah,
it's definitely a great way to start.
Absolutely parked. I mean, just the shot that you want out of the gate. Set yourself up for an easy birdie. And here we got yourself. What are you throwing here, Sam?
I've got a judge, prime judge. I waited, as you can see, the second card up the next fairway a little bit. Dylan booted it right off the right after the horn had sounded. I gave him a little wait.
Yeah, those 19-year-olds, not a lot of fear.
No, he's just ready to go. And here comes Willie. He's throwing a Active Line Sensei, the throwing putter from Discmania's line, and another great shot, puts it maybe 20 feet away.
Yeah, Discmania doing some wonders with their newer plastic coming out. Seeing a lot of Sensei, seeing a lot of Enigmas, seeing a lot of their Evolution line plastic coming out.
Yeah, all three of these guys are throwing a lot of Discmania. Although that is Stevie throwing a Z-Raptor, probably 18, 20 feet away. Easy putt to start the round.
Yeah, you're 18 to 20 feet away, and you're outside. Sets up for hopefully our first star frame of the round.
Right. I think this played as the third easiest hole.
Yeah, coming in at just over negative 0.5 for the day. So you're wanting to pick up the 2 here.
Yeah, it was a tough miss for Willie to start. Probably a nervous putt. I got to play with him the first round, and he was on the pole on every putt. It was really impressive.
Yeah, those camera jitters can get to you.
Definitely.
He'll bounce back.
Definitely.
Dylan picking up the easy birdie himself.
Yep.
And then we'll see Willie cleaning up to 3 out of 4 on the first hole. Like I said, camera jitters getting to you.
Right, and you definitely don't want to miss and put it in the water. I think this hole's easy, but it could definitely get out of hand pretty quick.
And here we have hole 2. It's par 4, 495 feet. The only 2 trees to miss were the one that the drone just flew by to the right side of the tee pad, and then that one that we're passing right now. You just want to throw something high that's going to turn over and give yourself a look. OB Road in the back and OB sand traps or hazard sand traps at the front. So you're just looking to have a clear shot for your second.
Yep, you just pretty much got to put it up there. Dylan is reaching for this Halo Destroyer. You're going to see this disc thrown a bunch of times.
And more often than not, flown right by me.
Yeah. Dan was pretty far down the fairway and was still dodging left and right with Dylan and Stevie's shots.
And this looks like one of your Ballista pros.
Yeah, I got this one from my old roommate Tony Stolo, so I'll give him a little shout out. Probably too flippy for him, so it's perfect for me. Put on a little hyzer, and it really just gets down there pretty good.
Yeah, you're in a good spot there. You're going to be staring at the basket.
Yeah, it's hard to have a bad drive on this hole. There's really nothing in the way for really most of the first 9 holes. So, pump it out there, and wherever you land, you'll have a look. This hole is really about that approach onto the green, avoiding the sand trap and the OB long.
Yeah, you're going to see that time and time again on a lot of these holes. It's just throw it as far as you can. Not a lot in the way, not a lot of danger. And as long as the wind's down, you can basically throw any disc you want as long as you're comfortable with it.
Yeah, so that's Willie throwing his Enigma and then coming back to that Sensei that he threw on hole 1. So hopefully he can put it nice and close.
Yeah, the only danger on this hole, again, as you get towards the green, is a couple of hazard sand traps and then the OB road beyond the basket.
Willie puts it on probably about the edge of circle 1. And I would say I would count that pretty much in, although he just had one nervy putt, so hopefully he can get it back on track. All right, I'm going to reach for my soft harp. This was definitely my favorite disc of the day. Throwing it nice and hard, having it go straight, and landing it probably about 15 to 18 feet away.
A little longer than your first birdie putt of the day, but nothing that's out of your range.
Right, and here comes Stevie's throwing that Raptor again.
Checks up nicely, at least. It's not, this green, it doesn't look like it on camera much, but there is a bit of a roll-away opportunity at the front there. So it's nice to see that disc check up, and he'll have a look for 3.
Yep, definitely. And here comes Dylan throwing his zone. And we're all kind of right about that 20 to 30 kind of foot, so no gimmies. Oh, just as Willie hits it off the top.
Yeah, nice to see Willie at least miss high on that one. You want to give it a chance, and especially if that first missed birdie putt, to see him still scaring the basket, it's a good sign.
I don't know. A miss is a miss to me. Front or top. I want it to go in.
Or left, like Stevie.
All right, here comes Dylan. Right in the heart. He looks focused and ready to go.
Yeah, we've seen Dylan on coverage before, and then seeing him step up on MPO lead cards and having a sizable lead is something that's going to be in his future a lot.
For sure. Yep, I didn't think that was the best putt I've ever thrown, but it was close enough and hits the chain, sticks, so we'll take it.
Well, they don't ask how, they just ask how many.
That's right.
And you'll take the birdie there, excuse me.
Right.
Stevie cleaning up his par, and Willie doing the same, dropping it in. And as we move on to hole 3.
Yeah, hole 3 is another par 4, 525 feet. You have to clear this OB section right off the pad with a hazard just short of this old ball gall green to the left. But a lot of airspace, just, that same driver that you just threw, just take it and rip it out there. So wherever it lands, you'll probably have a clean and open up shot to the pin.
Yeah, the start of this round, the wind was fairly down to begin with. It would pick up as the round goes on. So as long as you can throw something moderately flippy and just carry a distance, because that hazard, that little walkway across, sneaks up on you if you don't have enough power.
Yeah, everybody on this card is plenty enough power to get over. Dylan went with his Halo Destroyer. I'm going back to the Ballista Pro. Not a huge pull, but it's out there.
Well, it looks like you made the correction from your drive on hole 2, giving it a little less hyzer, letting it kind of stand up and ride.
Right. Anywhere out there, you're going to have a look. So here comes Stevie. He's got a Cloud Breaker 2 in his hand. He absolutely unloads this disc.
This one goes a long way. Spoiler alert.
Yeah, for sure. So he is way past the hazard, and I think he and Dylan are probably within 100 feet of the basket off the drive. So, being 525 feet, it's a good pull, but it's a little downhill, so you can definitely get some glide up there. And then Willie, he's got his Destroyer. Not the biggest pull, but again, wide open up to the pin.
Hey, all 4 drives clearing the hazard, all 4 drives staying safe. And
yep, that's all you need.
All 4 drives have an opportunity to get up and down for 3.
Yep. So This is another recurring theme, the basket on a ledge. So throwing it close on your upshot is really, really helpful because the putts can be a little scary. And you're right, it wasn't too windy, but just enough to have it in your head where, you know, the main obstacle is some of the undulations on the green.
Yeah, because if you don't want to have to think about those putts from that 15 to 20 foot range. You just want to be able to dial those in and make those. And any uncertainty, you're going to let off a little bit. You're going to overcommit. It's going to hit off the basket, and you'll see some nasty rollaways.
Yep. Let's use your mental energy on other things. There's Willie. His first birdie of the round.
And shout out to Willie, too. We forgot to mention hole 1, the only ace of the day on the AM side.
Right. Both Stevie and Willie had played the day before, so this tournament was on a Sunday. So this is actually their 4th trip around the course on the weekend, which is pretty impressive just as a physicals feat.
Yeah, this is a long track, something that will take a lot of strength and energy to play through, especially 2 times.
Right. Well, I'm glad we got to we weren't talking about my missed putt. I had a similar putt in round 1 and missed that one too, so that was pretty annoying. I think this hole is very gettable, and I did not get it either round, so I'm the only one cleaning up, and we'll be the back of the box as we head to hole 4.
Yeah, that hole coming in at just under half a stroke, so you definitely want to pick up.
You gotta get that one.
We got hole 4, the par 3, 290 feet, fairly open off the tee. The only danger here, you'll see the OB road and beyond on the right side, and then as we get closer to the basket here, a very steep drop off. Something that you need to take into consideration on your drive. You don't want to be left here.
Well, you don't want to be, if you're left, it's not too bad because you got the putt coming up the hill. Being a little bit too far to the right, that can be a really scary putt. So Dylan's throwing a, what's he got right there? I think that was his runway. And he puts it down the hill to left. So now Stevie's reaching for his Gator 3, and he's getting it out too wide and gets this awesome skip off the walkway right underneath the pin. When that came out of his hand, we did not think that was going to have a chance, but now pretty much 100% in the pin.
Standing right on the road, I'm kind of in a dangerous spot as far as where the disc is going to be flying in, and I thought that was making a beeline to me the whole time, and just seeing the skip off of it, I don't think I saw a drive closer to the basket the entire day.
Well, I think Willie might have had one in round 1. That time it kind of leaks out and goes a little bit down the hill. So I'm last on the box. I'm reaching for that judge that I threw on hole 1 again. Just kind of floating it up in the air and having it come back a little pin high, but a little bit down the hill.
Yeah, you saw from your tee shot the angle we had. The trees are starting to pick up a little bit as far as the wind goes. So you're taking that into consideration for your shots. And whoa, what a putt!
Oh, Dylan from outside circle 1 cans it.
Getting the replay.
Ooh, just sneaking it over the front rim, because if that hits the front rim, it's going down the hill, and he might have an even longer putt.
Just a tiny bit of wobble. Not a lot of wobble. Just enough to get it into the basket at least.
Wobble is fine if it goes in. Oh, and Stevie.
That's got to sit. Oh, and it does.
Oh, another one. Close, but not quite. All right, I think this is from maybe about 25 feet right up the hill.
Bang.
Oof, that one felt good.
Left side, strong side.
Still goes in. Yeah, Dylan is 4 for 4 already, so you kind of got to keep up because we're in danger.
To run away with it.
Yeah, we're trying to make sure he doesn't run away with it for sure.
Especially with his arm and his power, a lot of gettable holes for him.
For sure. You know, for such an open course, throwing it super far doesn't earn you a ton of strokes. But on a couple holes, it can definitely make it quite a bit easier, including this hole, hole 5.
The monster. This is a monster hole. Par 5, 940 feet. Just the name of the game on this hole is just get distance.
It would certainly be helpful. The young guns are definitely going to open up, and we're going to see how far they can really push it. So Dylan has an excellent backhand. He was not throwing it for distance this weekend. I think he might have hurt his hand or something. I'm not exactly sure, but he can throw that huge flexing forehand. That was close. That had to be close to 500 feet.
Yeah, the spot where I'm standing right now, there's a red stake out there, and I don't know if that's from the former ball golf course that this property used to lay on, or if it's a safety measure. I measured it at around 475.
Whoa, Dan, watch out.
No, it didn't hit me. I was unscathed from the disc, but I'm standing at about 475 from that spot. And Stevie just flew that about 470.
Right, so after watching two 19-year-olds bomb at 500 feet, obviously I'm going to go for a roller.
Hey, you got to play the game that you know how to play. You got to stay within yourself.
Right. There's a little bit of danger on the left side, and it's just not worth something flipping over or hyzering out too far to the right, so the roller kind of stays right in the middle. Not the most distance, but it's in the middle, and we're going to play for a 4.
Yeah, the where those cars are parked, that place is out of bounds, and then as you go along the road, it's pretty generous as far as how much space you have to use on this hole.
Yeah, absolutely.
So if you're not comfortable airing it out and spraying the disc everywhere, nothing wrong with staying in the middle.
Yep, I really appreciated Willie having being on the card with me, so I wasn't just stuck with absolute bombers on every hole. We could kind of play a little more of the old man golf and just toss it up the fairway.
Yeah, you let Stevie and Dylan play their game, bomb it up the fairway, and you and Willie just hang out and play your game.
We're going to do our thing. So there's another Ballista Pro, and it's, sitting looking at the basket from maybe 250 feet away. And here comes Dylan, really attacking the pin with another monster turnover forehand. Gets the beautiful skip, and he's inside 20 feet. An absolute incredible shot.
Yeah, gets a nice checkup right on the middle of that old golf green, and looking at an eagle
Absolutely.
on this hole is nothing short of impressive.
Right, and now Stevie with an even longer drive is throwing a glow PD2. Looks like he's not even throwing it 100%.
No, that was just a smooth hyzer, and Dylan and Stevie kind of going back and forth like anything you can do, I can do better type of vibe right now.
Right. It's kids showing off for the camera. There's Willie. His shot is a rock 3. And he put it inside circle 1. And I'm going back to my harp.
Good old faithful.
Oh, this is the best. I love it in the woods, but it's just as good out in the open. It's so predictable, and then when it just hits, it just sticks.
Well, it's a harp, and it's stable enough to handle the wind, and like you just said, with the soft plastic, it just hits wherever it wants to go, and it stays there.
Well, Willie dunks a really great putt, so those putting jitters from the first 2 holes, they're officially behind him. He's canned a couple nice ones in a row. As Dylan makes a nice, easy putt for a eagle 3. That is just awesome.
Yeah, 940 feet, and he made that look like 400.
Right. And there's Stevie doing the same thing. So Willie and I are just like, wow, what did we get ourselves into playing with these guys?
Yeah, the only 2 eagles on the day for hole 5, at least in round 2, on a hole that was playing about 0.22 strokes under par, so right around that birdie range that a lot of people are catching, or a lot of people are picking up on. But eagles are going to set you away from the pack.
Definitely. All right, hole 6. We got our first sort of tricky hole, as you got to throw it up the road and have it finish to the right. I think the only OB is actually past the basket, but it finishes on a little hill, which can get a little tricky. So Dylan's going flick FD3, gets a nice bounce. Boom, 15-footer.
Yeah, checks up on that hill nicely. It's a fairly severe slope from right to left as you're standing on the tee pad, as far as the green goes, because it kind of falls off. This is legged out left.
Yep, Stevie throwing his Cloudbreaker 1, just gets over it a little bit and catches the trees on the left side. So I'm up next. I've got my prototype Verdict, and just throwing it straight up the gap and having it just fall off to the right side, and I'm pretty much right next to Dylan.
That is a disc I have been trying to get my hands on from you for a while now. It is a great Frisbee.
Keep trying. And here comes Willie. He's throwing a Firebird, nice and easy.
Tracking at the basket, skipping up short.
And he's going to have a putt, and he's going to...
He had a putt.
Wait, what's happening? No. Make it stop. Oh, that is just cruel.
Know what's happening.
Please. Oh, Willie. Sorry, man.
At least there's no OB over there.
At least there's no OB. That was the small comforts. But he should have had a birdie look.
And scaring the basket
Woo.
for a birdie look.
Right, wow.
It was terrible when I had to tell Willie where his disc went.
That was
I
not
felt
cool.
really bad.
You should have. All right, here comes Stevie from maybe 45 feet. Oh, dunks it and immediately turns to Dylan and gives him the eyes.
We mentioned earlier, it's just Dylan and Stevie kind of having that back and forth, I'm better than you mentality. And, I mean, that's what you kind of expect from the young guns. They're going to go back and forth.
It was fun to watch, and like we were just kind of enjoying the show.
And he's got a smile on his face, too.
How could you not?
These guys joking with each other just makes the vibes of the card that much better.
It was pretty loose. We were having a really great day on a beautiful course, on just excellent weather. Everything about the day was killing it. And here comes Dylan tapping in another birdie. So he's now 7 down through 6 holes.
And he's got that smug smile on his look, too. Like, yeah, you just canned it from 50. Let me just park it.
Right.
And then here we got you. Just, I'm going to keep doing my thing, keep playing my safe game, and 5 down is nothing to slouch at either.
I've been 5 down through 6, and I'm getting smoked. I was a very strange feeling to be out there.
And that's a good par from Willie, too, with the unfortunate roll away. He didn't let that hole get away from him.
Yep. And all right, here comes another hole where distance actually comes into play. An 850-foot par 4. You really want to throw your drive and land on top of this kind of plateau. If you got to get over the little ravine, that will give you another approach to the green, which of course has a sloping fall off right beyond it. So here comes Dylan throwing that destroyer again, getting way over it. Oh, it doesn't even watch.
No, he knows right away.
He knows that he killed it.
Like Michael Johansson would make a putt and not even look at it.
Boom.
Dylan's going to throw a drive and not even look at it. He knows it's right in the middle.
Well, Stevie says, hey, man, nice drive.
Again, I am about, let's call it 500 feet out this time, just a rough estimate, and I'm still turning.
Wow, an absolute bomb by Stevie. That's his cloud breaker, too. Nice and worn in. The stamp is half gone, and now we get a little view of the chase card in front of us. So I see those kids throwing, and I reach for my max distance, kind of understable, and absolutely turn it over. That was going to be in the road and got the best tree kick I could have ever asked for. I should probably owe that tree a hug.
Yeah, that camera angle is a little deceiving, too. Those white flags look a lot closer that mark the OB, but you were already way past that anyway.
I didn't even realize there was OB there, but really when I let it go, I thought it was going to be on the fairway of hole 5 because that was never going to stop turning, and that was not a great shot, but luckily I'm in the middle, and I'm going to go back to that Ballista Pro.
Yeah, you mentioned earlier that the view from down there, you can't see the basket there.
No.
You're tall. You're over 6 feet, but you still can't see the basket.
It doesn't matter. I had to just throw it straight and far and give myself an approach to get up and down for par.
And that's why it's important for that drive to get up on that second level. So being able to see the basket, at least you can gauge some distance. I know 2 of these guys had rangefinders, I believe.
Yeah, Willie and Stevie had the rangefinder out.
Which on a course like this is such a useful tool to have.
Certainly not bad. All right, Dylan puts it up in the circle again, looking to go 8 down through 7 holes.
Stevie going wide with this approach.
Right, he going with a Raptor and lands just beyond the basket and gets that roll. So he's going to be outside of circle 1.
Yeah, that's something that Tyler really took into consideration when designing these holes is
absolutely,
if you have wide open space, you want to make sure your baskets are in a tough location so it's not just birdie fest.
Right. So there aren't really trees in the way, but there is definitely places to find danger. Willie and I just throwing up shots to inside the bullseye. We're going to have easy tap-ins for 4.
Yeah, just taking your birdies when they come and not letting the pars get away from you guys.
Absolutely. You did want to keep your card clean. Stevie airballing, feeling a little tough because he knows that Dylan, who's absolutely on fire, is probably going to put it right in the heart, and now he is 8 down through 7 holes. And
never a doubt on that putt.
Just like completely on fire. I don't even think that really captures how well he's playing.
Course record here was 12 down going into this?
12 down, that's right.
And Dylan's already 8 through 7.
That's insane.
So I don't think that course record's going to be in jeopardy. Or will be in jeopardy.
It's shaking. It's shaking in its boats. I was pretty pumped up to get a 4. I think Willie is too. Stevie, probably less so, as he had that monster drive.
Yeah, when you're staring eye height at the basket on your second shot, you're licking your chops for the 3.
For sure. All right.
We got hole 8 is a par 4, 575 feet, so a shorter hole now. You get to ease into the...
Well, it helps to rip a drive past this line of trees on the left, which will give you an open look up to the basket on the right.
Yeah, danger on this hole is OB left, and that's really about it. There's a small pond off to the right side, but...
All right, Dylan's first sort of misfire of the round kind of turns that over a little bit. He's going to be shorter than he would like, I'm sure. Stevie.
Yeah, Stevie kind of got over on this one a little bit, maybe a little farther right than he anticipated, but still safe.
Yeah, it's definitely safe, and I think he's past that last tree on the left, so he's going to have an open look to get up and down. I'm not messing with any danger. I'm going back to the roller.
No, you got that roller dialed down. What are you throwing here for your rollers?
Oh, it's my river. That disc, that's the twin of the one I've been throwing, but I've had a Gold Line River in my bag since I started playing, and that disc is never, ever coming out. All right, Willie, going to the destroyer. Nice and smooth, straight down the middle.
Nothing wrong with middle of the fairway.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that leaves us a pretty big but pretty safe approach shot. Here's Dylan, and he slips.
He slips, and we see the foot fault. We see the graphic up on the screen, and that's just a mistake that he can't afford to make in that situation.
Was that seconding it? Is it seconded?
And he knows it.
Yep.
He knows what he did. And
Can watch as he slips and kicks the mini. You know, we love to give benefit of the doubt to the player, but I think that's about as clear a foot fault as you can ever call. And I know we've all probably joked about calling our friends for strokes, you know, in casual rounds, but doing it in a tournament is actually terrible.
no, this is an MPO B-Tier, somewhere where you cannot afford to let those go aside.
Right.
And we mentioned earlier, like, the vibes of the card between Dylan and Stevie, like having fun, joking off, staring each other down. Does that kind of change the vibe of the card a little bit?
Absolutely, big time. So now everybody is a little bit tighter, where nobody's happy about having to make a call, and despite we all being certified rules officials, no one was quite sure about the call, like if it had to be seconded, or, you know, I think the rule used to be that it was just a warning on your first infraction, but now it's immediate. Like if it's seen and seconded, it's an immediate stroke. So he's going to take where his throw landed +1.
And I believe before it had to be seconded by 2 separate players on the card outside of the person who violated the rule. Now it's, I believe, if you commit the infraction, that counts as a second as well. Like, you can admit to it, and then let's say you or Dylan or Willie can call you out on it.
Right. So I called it, and Stevie was the second. So.
And good on you guys for noticing that too, because the rule that hasn't changed is you cannot use a camera as evidence. It still has to be witnessed in person.
Well, so now Stevie has a chance, as Dylan's going to take a 5, but he ends up hitting and rolling. So now he's got another kind of nervy putt to save his par after the big drive. So
yeah, this whole kind of getting away from all of our competitors right now. Dylan with the foot fault, Stevie with the 3-putt.
Yeah, definitely changing the vibe of the card. The young guns were definitely running away and kind of hit a wall. So, you know, I think, you know, Dylan still has 2 strokes on the round and 3 strokes overall. So he's still got a pretty comfortable lead. That's going to hurt Stevie, but, you know, they still have a good chance to bounce back and play well.
Yeah, and a little momentum shift too as we head into hole 9, par 3, 270 feet. Pretty much just a stock straight to slight hyzer for the righties.
Yeah, it must be nice. I'm going to reach for my blend judge and throw a nice little turnover. Scoot it up there. I don't know about the rest of the guys on the card, but I'm excited that there's now some stuff in our way. We're kind of done with the super wide open portion of the course, and now there's going to be some kind of obstacle that we have to navigate for the rest of the round, which is my preferred style of golf by far.
Yeah, I mean, being a New England disc golfer, you're licking your chops getting into the woods for these
Right,
next few holes.
absolutely. Like, you know, I've played well out in the open, but let's find some trees, man. Well, unfortunately, Dylan does find a tree on his drive. His zone just kind of comes in a little bit early, hits and bounces down. It's going to be kind of a duff putt.
Stevie taking the wide hyzer.
Big
here.
wide hyzer. Also kind of clunks a tree and just gets this slow roll. So he's going to have a tough, obstructed uphill putt.
Yeah, those slow rollaways are something you never want to see on these elevated greens.
Extra painful. Oh, just hits on the weak side, falls out. Now Dylan's got another straddle putt around the tree, clips just a tiny part of it, and does not get it to fall. So I've got maybe a little bit more than 20 feet. Super helpful to be really tall, get around that tree, and oh, what a nice catch by the basket.
Yeah, being able to reach around those trees is a tool that you can't teach that.
You can't. Stevie.
There we
putting
go.
it right or Willie right in the heart.
And Stevie and Dylan cleaning up their pars and heading into the back nine. Like you said, a little bit of a vibe change, momentum swinging in your direction a little bit.
Yeah.
Willie hanging tough. And after 9 holes, we'll get a catch up on the leaderboard.
Kyle Moriarty jumping up from that chase
Kyle
car.
doing that thing again.
Yep.
Always got to be afraid when he's near the top of the leaderboard.
Absolutely. On a course where he can really show off his long distance skills.
Disc Golf 978 is a fully stocked, one-stop shop for all your disc golf needs. Whether you're a beginner or a seasoned pro, Disc Golf 978 has what you need to improve your game. We have all major brands, a helpful and knowledgeable staff, convenient hours, and a customer rewards program. Disc Golf 978 is located within 30 minutes of 9 courses in Central Mass. Find us at 16 John Fitch Highway in Fitchburg, Mass, or on the web at discgolf978.com.
All right, big thanks to our sponsor 978 for the tournament and for the coverage. Let's start the back 9. We got hole 10, a par 3, just 260 feet. Pretty open and easy, but these trees next to the basket can be super frustrating. I know I had a putt from maybe 15 feet in the first round and could not get it. So going back to my judge, just trying to throw it straight as possible, nestling it up.
And absolutely parked. And we have the first flight tracker of the day.
Wow, pretty fancy, guys.
Just dead straight on a beeline. And that's what judges do.
Yep.
I know I got 2 in my bag that do the exact same thing, and they are just wonderful to throw.
They sure are. Great thrower, great putter. One of my favorite discs. Here comes Willie. He's throwing his Luster Invader, a kind of straight, stable approach disc.
Yeah, leaving it a little bit right, but hopefully that tree's not too much in his way. Should have a clear putt.
Yeah, Dylan just kind of aiming on that zone a little bit instead of just throwing it. Ends up a little bit short. Stevie reaching for his Gator 3, throwing it out to the left on a nice little hyzer.
Oh, Jesus.
Right
Come on,
off
basket.
the pole.
That needs to stick.
Oh, with the double fall of flight action.
Yeah, we
2
see-
different routes, but pretty good results.
Yeah.
Catching all kinds of chains, the pole.
Different ways
and,
to skin a cat.
unfortunately, the ground as well. So now this is actually kind of a big putt for Dylan, as just not quite up in the air enough. And now I have a chance to tie him on the round, and Stevie's also back in it.
It looked like Willie does have a clear putt at it. There
Oh,
we go, Willie.
Absolutely dunking him from distance.
Just playing his game.
Yep. This
Old
is,
man Willie golf.
yeah, this is the Willie I saw in the first round. It was awesome to see him kind of get it going. And I decided that I didn't want to actually putt the 2-footer. I'd rather just dunk it.
Like you
So,
said, don't exert energy that
Yeah.
you don't have to.
Right. Stevie also with the tap in and Dylan with the lone par. So that's a little tough. I'm sure he's got to get back on the horse. He's still got a 1-stroke lead overall, so he's definitely not out of it, but tough to turn it around.
Yeah, on a hole that's playing under a half-stroke par.
Yep.
It's something you want to get, and he knows that his lead is slowly diminishing.
Yep.
As we come into hole 11, 310 feet, the basket just on the slope again. Tyler using that land at his disposal to make it a little tougher for you guys.
Right. That little gap, I didn't want to hit that, so I throw in my evader and just turned it over a little bit too much. It makes the decision easy to lay up when you're outside of the circle. So Willie put in just probably a little outside circle's edge.
That elevation deceiving again, because that thing is tracking toward the basket. It looked like it was going to be in the bullseye.
Oh! Stevie hitting off the left side tree.
Little tree love.
Little tree love. It's hard to get tree love out here. There aren't many trees to give you loving, so good shot. And here comes Dylan. This is a big, big time drive. FD3 turnover, a shot he's thrown pretty well all day. And boom, inside the circle. Great shot. Still a tester putt, and whew, scary, because any kind of miss, you're ending up down the hill. He would have a putt at least as long as the one he just had.
And I know that's in the back of Stevie's mind as he lays up.
Yep.
Same thing going through your head.
Yep.
Don't want to lose another stroke.
No, easy decision. If Dylan's going to make that putt, then he can have the stroke. Good for him.
Same thing with Willie. You could tell he wanted to run that. You see the look on his face as he's picking his mini up.
I might have been heckling him from off the side that he should have run that, but he made the right decision, played his game.
And that puts Dylan in a good position to take a stroke back.
Awesome.
And after a couple of mistakes, being able to right the horse.
Right. Hopefully he's settled down, can get back in his groove. As the rest of us are just going to settle in our little par putts. Yeah, this is a really cool hole. I enjoyed the little gap at the start and this really cool green.
And a hole that's playing 0.12 strokes over par. Nice to grab a par. Dylan, of course, grabbing an extra stroke on the edge, on the rest of the field, but nothing wrong with a par there.
Yeah.
Especially with this hole following it, hole 12, par 3, just a little chip shot at around 190 feet, and it's just a hyzer for the righties all the way. And you'll have to get a little tricky with it.
Yep. The sign should say par 2 because this one you got to get a 2 and move on. Dylan reaching for a zone. Ease a little hyzer. Puts it 12 feet beyond the basket. I am going to go for a lucid deputy, and I have to give a little shout out to Rob Howe, who found this disc when I left it at Borderland during the week right before the tournament, and he got it back to me. So thank you, Rob, for the disc back. Throws it inside circle 1. I'm pretty confident on that birdie putt. Willie going for his exo hard tactic, a disc he's thrown really well, and boom, 8 or 10 feet.
After we see Stevie's drive here, I will spoil it. This was the only hole of round 2 that did not generate a bogey.
I would hope not. All right, Stevie with the only kind of tester putt on the for the card, probably 20-something feet away, but cashes it in, and I think we got a good chance of getting a star frame coming up.
Yeah, Stevie being the farthest drive out. Everybody else looking at pretty easy tap-in through 2s here.
Yep. I think I saw 4 2s on both rounds. So if you're missing your putt, you're definitely bleeding one to the field here.
Yeah, we'll watch Dylan here. Easy tap-in.
Boom, right on the pole.
And a hole that 88% of the field birdied. And like I said, the only hole on the day that did not generate a bogey. So if you are getting a par, you're losing a stroke.
Yep, well, that is not true for hole 13. This is one of the newer holes on the property, and we are in the woods. There's 2 kinds of gaps, and this left side gap that the drone is flying is super tight. And any kind of kick early and left is going to leave you pretty jailed up.
Yeah, you got a lot of tree jail to the left side. That right side is nothing to slouch at either. It's just throw it straight and take your 3 and move on.
Oh, Dylan gets over his FD2, hits and lands in that early left side, and he is going to have some trouble in there.
Luckily, kicking straight down with a minimal kick to the left, because like we just said, anything in that left side is not fun.
Yep, I'm taking out my prototype Warhorse and smashing it about as hard as I can on some Anheuser and
That
get all the way through the gap and
Is
park it.
gross. You said that was your Warhorse?
That's a Warhorse.
Oh my! So you're throwing high speed on this hole.
I am. I'm confident that the stability in the disc is gonna bring it back as I just jam it about as hard as I can on some Anheuser through the gap.
That's a lot of trust in that disc.
It's pretty overstable, so it did work for me both rounds. I got this both rounds.
And then we saw Willie's drive get straight down the fairway, just catching that late tree, and Stevie's gonna have some work to do.
Yep. Not a great place to be. You're gonna have to get super creative. So Dylan's reaching for a forehand from a knee, trying to go Annie.
Catching that first tree, and he's gonna have a lot of work to do to even say 4 at this point.
Right. Going back to a knee. Now he's going backhand. Looks like he's got a fairway driver in his hand. Just comes out low.
Yeah, this shot kind of confused me a little bit from him. Kind of obviously laying it all out there. It's just not getting enough power behind it.
Yeah. Well, it might have had power. It just needed a little more height, but it was tough with the low ceiling. And Stevie actually having a pretty open look, but he throws it kind of into the ground.
Yeah, leaving that one low, and these rocks out here weren't very forgiving as far as the skips go. You're not going to get a true skip.
Nope. Willie was actually inside the tree. The tree caught his disc, so he's just got an easy step out forehand with his tactic. He's got it inside the circle. So Dylan really needs to make this putt for a bogey. Gives it a good scare, but lands just long.
It was on a great line, just like you said, a little high, a little bit to the right, and he'll have his tap in for his 5.
Yeah, that's pretty tough when you're up multiple strokes. Stevie also trying to save par.
Same thing, scare in the basket, just leaving it a little bit to the right. Willie, hopefully cleaning up his 3.
Yeah, Willie had a same kind of approach both rounds on this hole. Just easy mid-range up the right side. Didn't get all the way there, but had a pretty easy up and down to get his 3.
There you are. Easy 2. Ain't no thing.
Yeah. Whew. Big deep breath after that one.
Yeah, this hole 13, coming in as the hardest hole on the day, averaging just about 0.34 strokes over par, and a little bit of what is he trying to hit him with the stick? Like, Dylan, I know you're upset you took a double bogey, but you don't have to hit your competitors.
No, he was cool. Obviously a little frustrated, but kept his head up, kept his head cool, so that was good to see. And we had a minute to stew on it before we play hole 14. We got to watch the chase card play the entire hole.
Yeah, a bit of a backup going into hole 14 here. Par 4, 425. Kind of an interesting first shot off the tee. If the wind's right, I guess you could go over the top, but I don't think we're going to see anybody going over the top here.
No, really, you're just trying to get past this initial gap of trees and give yourself something a little bit past them. So I'm going to throw a verdict, poke it out there, pray it gets through, and
that's a great shot.
Finds a nice little gap. So I've got a nice little approach up towards the pin.
Yeah, not the longest par 4 being at 425. But it's the 2-shot aspect of this hole that makes it really tough. That gives it that par 4 feel.
Absolutely. So Willie releases his Firebird a little bit high. Gets cut down, but he will have some sort of look from there. Stevie throwing a low backhand.
Yeah, just a little bit too much cut on that one. But behaved and landed in the middle for him.
Right, Dylan going back to that FD3 that he's been killing all day.
And he's right up there with you.
Right, he scoots it up. Now you got this. You can either take this little gap on the right, or you can do what Willie's doing, scoot it out to the left, bring it back. Boom. That looks well inside the circle.
Yeah, he'll have a look for his 3 right there.
Absolutely. And now you can see, even though we're in the woods, this is probably the best shot of a little breeze going on.
Yeah, as the round went on, the wind picking up more and more each hole. And as we get back out into the open after these next couple of holes, we'll see it more in play.
Stevie going to that Raptor again on the approach and bouncing along. That's not the first time that's happened.
Oh, he hit that a little too good.
Right. Must have just got a perfect route. Oh, Dylan looking right at the basket, but can't find his way through the gap.
Yeah, this is the part of the round where you started to take over as the the winner and as the leader, I should say.
Well, hopefully the winner, but gotta get
Well, there's a lot of golf left.
gotta get up and down through this one first. Going for the harp. Just a slight little ante, my favorite approach shot.
That's a shot that you have all day.
I hope so. Now Dylan's really got to get a dunk one from here.
He thought it. He had his hands up in the air.
I think he might have been
Right.
calling it for it to sit, but another kind of tough approach shot, but here we go. Stevie trying to save his birdie.
Yeah, trying to go down to the knee just to give himself a little more room on the ceiling, but still catching that branch.
Here comes Willie for birdie. Boom, right in there. He's
Willie
got
just
such,
doing his thing.
such nice pace and touch on his putts. I would imagine he almost never gets a chain out when he hits the chains.
Oh, he's center pole every time, right where you want to hit it.
Right, and just when you don't have that much pace, these baskets really eat that up.
Stevie cleaning up his par. You admiring your birdie.
Well, I'm glad I had to fix my pants a little bit, and it was looking a little silly.
We got to get you a belt, or a better belt.
I know. Grip 6, what up? Hit, get at me. All right, so next hole is a par 4 down the hill. You got to get out the gap and around the trees, and then you can find this well-protected green.
Yeah, similar to the last hole as far as like the distance aspect of it, 535 not being a terribly long
It doesn't.
par 4. It's just the danger off the tee
Right.
that creates a tough shot.
As long as you get out the gap, you're going to be pretty well set up. I'm throwing the same pro that I got from Bradley Arnell the week before and just dunking it into that trees, but I'll have an easy up and down with a harp, so I'm feeling pretty confident just getting out the gap.
Willie just
Oh.
wanted to get around that
Right.
tree, just turned at the wrong time.
Right, it's such a late turn to throw the backhand and get it all the way there.
This is why you'll see most taking this right side gap, is the power hyzer.
Right,
Little bit of flip up,
right, throwing an instinct.
but
Great looking shot, probably was going towards the pin, but there's a tree in the way.
those trees are just spaced out enough to make it look like you have some gaps, and then nope, we're just gonna get in your way.
Right, so this is probably the best eagle play. The turn over forehand that flexes late to get back to the pin. Dylan just pulls it a little bit over, catches one of those, and kind of ends up in the trees with the rest of us. But now we've got 200 feet maybe even a little less than that.
200 feet downhill,
Right.
fairly protected green on the backside.
Right.
So you got a couple backstop trees to help you out, but
Right. But Dylan's going to chip a zone inside the circle. I'm going back to my harp.
so it's basically, if the wind's up, you're throwing a harp. If the wind's down, you're throwing a judge.
No, I'm still throwing a harp. When in doubt, harp it out. That is my favorite approach disc, for sure. And Stevie reaching for that Gator 3, I think. And kind of sails it. Gets it. He told me that he had a favorite zone that he lost the week before, so that Gator 3 was pretty new to his bag. Not quite dialed in, except for on maybe hole 10, but sinks the putt anyways, collects the birdie.
I was gonna say that putt was dialed in, kind of squeaking on the left side, but grabbing enough of the chains.
Innocent
Basket
baby.
said yes. I'll take you this time.
Yep, Dylan on the pole. And I've got another short little tap in. I don't think I've had to do much in the way of putting this round, which is my preferred way to do it.
And Willie,
Another cleanup.
easy tap in, and another star frame.
All right, we got 3 holes to go. And the last of what I would call the big arm holes, where distance can really separate you from us medium throwers.
And speaking of 3, going back to that last hole, 3 eagles on the first round. I mean, we saw the 2 eagles from Dylan and Stevie on hole 5, but on that last hole, shout out to Dylan, Eric Woyden, and Kevin Coltrane picking up the eagle on that last hole.
That's a great shot, boys.
Yeah.
All right, up the hill. Big hyzer. All you got to do is miss this tree on the right if you're righty throwing that big hyzer. And then another little elevated basket just to play with you in your mind. So I have no business trying to go attack the pin, so I'm just going to chuck a big hyzer out to the left side. Be pretty short, but wide open to get up and down.
Yeah, not many holes out here that were playing over par. This one playing at just over par at 3.02.
Yeah.
So anybody picking up a 3, you're not going to be losing strokes here.
Nope. But I'm sure Stevie and Dylan are licking their chops as an opportunity to get one on me and Willie. So Stevie going back to that glow PD2. He's going to rip a big hyzer. Looks like it's coming in really nice and just clips the one tree or one of the 2 trees in the way.
Yeah, catching that last guardian tree that's protecting the green.
Yep, I'm sure Dylan really trying to hype this one. And hyped it a little bit too much. Just gets a little too much turn on it. Kind of burns it over into the ground.
Yeah, you saw it flexing out or wanting to flex out. Maybe he gets a little more height on that. And he could have like a circle 2, maybe inside the circle look if this gets the full flight.
Yep. I mean, he can certainly put it up there, but not that time. So now we're going to have just some little pitch ups, although I'm sure Dylan's going to try to run this one, even though he's probably, 75 feet away?
Yeah, at this point in the round, he's just looking to pick up any strokes he can get back from you.
Yep. And a pretty good bid, but not quite there. Here we go, old trusty harp. Down to the base. Oh, and Stevie with that great drive, just clipping a tree, and now he's got the tiny tree in his way. That's kind of cruel.
And probably the smallest tree on the course, preventing him just off the top of the basket.
Off the top. So how many 2s were knocked down?
There were 3 birdies for the second round on this hole. We had Jay Clark, Joey Antosca, and Kyle Moriarty.
Oh.
That guy again, and more on him in just a little bit. I don't want to spoil anything, but he's making some noise on the chase card right now. And is that something that are you one of the guys that likes to look at scores during the round, or are you kind of just out and playing your game?
I have not looked at the score yet.
So we got hole 17, par 3, 340 feet. Maybe the signature hole?
Definitely a cool one, and a great hole 17. You're just puckered up a little bit as you have to throw down this hallway. And I'm feeling pretty good. I know I have a couple stroke lead, so I'm really just trying to get it down there. And I flip it over, which, I landed really close to the basket on the first round and got a birdie, but I was pretty fine with that shot. I got it down. I'm not going to take any bad numbers, so.
Yeah, when I went out to Oak Ridge when the course was first installed and played around with Tyler, and I was kind of picking his brain about some of the holes that he had, and this was one that he kept in after the redesign, and he equated it to, I think it was hole 11 or hole 12 from the old Commander at Devon's, because he loved the straight tunnel shot with just trees left and right and really only one way to access the green. And I asked him, what about like Mandos? And he's like, the trees are enough of a natural Mando. He doesn't want to put artificial Mandos anywhere.
It got a little weird with this fallen tree on the right side.
Yeah, some nasty weather maybe, or some wind picked. I mean, that's a pretty big
storm.
Tree to uproot.
Yep. So Dylan throwing a zone down the thing, and he's going to have a putt to trim the lead. I had all those trees in the way, so I decided I'm just going to put a harp to a couple feet away and take my 3 and move on. Oh, Willie missing his first putt since, I think, hole 2.
Yeah, he got his putt dialed in as the round went on and started to feel more and more comfortable with it.
Absolutely. Stevie, not quite. I think he's going to feel a little frustrated after that hard start that he couldn't quite keep it going. But now we got Dylan. This is a pretty big putt. He can trim it to 1. Just doesn't extend on his arm. Kind of hits the front rim.
Yeah, so now he's got to start thinking about Willie on his tail, Stevie on his tail, anybody from the chase card making moves to come up for 3rd or even 2nd place at this point. Because with a 2-shot lead going into 18, kind of hard to pick up a couple strokes on that.
Right, so I have 3 on him this round, but 2 overall. So 2 going to the last hole. So this was actually, after I threw my tee shot, was the first time that I looked at the score. And I saw that I had 2 on Kyle, but it hadn't updated as he birdied 16 and 17. So now as we're on 18, I figure I'm only up 1, and I know he's got hole 1 left, which is very birdieable, and this one. So I am all of a sudden feeling the pressure, and I'm going to really go for this. I'm going back to that Warhorse and doing kind of the same thing I did on 13, just ripping it as hard as I can. It's blind, and you have that hazard, so you just got to toss it and cross your fingers.
Yeah, we were relying on Mark here as the T cam, because after hole 17, I did the same thing you did. It was the first time I looked at the scores, and I'm on catch cam for this round, and I said to Mark, it's all on you. I'm going to hole 1 because that's where Kyle was finishing from the chase card, and I knew with the scores being as tight as they were, if he makes some noise or if he does something, we want to get some coverage of that.
Yeah, absolutely. So it was kind of scary watching you walk away instead of setting up in position and going to watch Kyle. So we just didn't really know what was going on. So unfortunately, Willie threw his drive, hit the tree, and landed OB. So he's got to throw this approach, this blind approach with the sand trap lurking, but puts it up nice and close. Now Stevie from distance and tosses it right into the sand trap. So it's playing as a hazard. So he's going to play from his lie, but with a 1-stroke penalty.
Yeah, so the only danger to going from being aggressive on those shots toward the basket are you're just going to lose 1 stroke. It's not a stroke in distance. It's not taking it from a drop zone. You just play from where it lies and take that extra stroke.
Dylan with a great finish, breaking out that backhand and puts it in the circle. Nice finish to his tournament.
Look at you sitting pretty.
Wow. I was pretty excited when I came around the corner, and it was a nice, easy tap in.
Threw that Warhorse exactly 339 feet just to tap it in. I can tell you're excited.
Yeah, it had been, I think, over 3 years since I had won my last tournament, so I was pretty pumped. Just come out here on a new course I hadn't seen before.
All right, well, thank you, Latitude, and for sticking with me. So awesome to be out here, and this course is awesome. Thank you, Tyler. And looking forward to playing lots of disc golf this summer. Let's go.
A little shout out to the sponsors there.
Yeah, absolutely. Latitude for sticking with me after I had a little time away from the game, and just happy to be out playing, winning is cool, but just being out playing, being with my friends, enjoying the beautiful weather, that's what it's really all about.
Yeah, a little shout out to the top 10 there. Like I said, Kyle making a comeback, creeping up just a little bit, but ultimately Sam taking home the win. Again, we want to thank Disc Golf 978. Huge sponsors, huge things they're doing up in the Fitchburg area. Shout out to myself, little shameless plug, and Mark for running the cameras and doing the editing.
The coverage has been absolutely amazing. You guys crushed it. Looks so good.
Again, Tyler for developing an awesome course. Gillis for the drone footage. And we want to thank everybody for watching, and we'll see you at Clement.